best things about traveling is sampling all the regional foods that I come across. On a trip to the American Southwest, I discovered the best fried chicken I'd ever eaten. And when I came home, I adapted the recipe. Doesn't it look delicious? Well, here's the recipe. Watch. I'd like to show you my version of Amarillo, Texas fried chicken. First of all, the chicken is always soaked in ice water, and preferably overnight. And the reason for soaking is to leach out any bloody spots from the chicken, any impurities. And the chicken is so white and so tender and so moist after it soaks in the iced water. You can add salt to the iced water too. You should probably add about, to a bowl this size, probably about 2 tablespoons of salt. And then drain the chicken into another bowl. And for another 8 to 24 hours, soak it in approximately 3 cups of non-fat buttermilk. And the buttermilk should cover the chicken. And cover it with plastic wrap. Put it in the refrigerator. The buttermilk is the perfect soaking liquid. The dredging ingredients cling to the surface of the chicken better because of its thick consistency, and the buttermilk also adds a tangy taste, which is added flavor. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. I already have one in here, and this has been soaking overnight. It's ready to be drained and floured and fried. Now I have to check my oil. We're using solid vegetable shortening. Yes, it has to be about 350. It's perfect. I better hurry up and get this chicken ready. If you like it a little bit spicy, stir in about 3 tablespoons of Tabasco sauce before you take it out of the buttermilk. So that looks like about enough. Just stir it around. This will add a little bit of spice. Now I'm just draining each of the pieces on this rack. Now discard the buttermilk, not to be saved. Now in a shallow dish, put 1½ cups of sifted all-purpose flour, about a tablespoon of salt, and freshly ground black pepper. Just roll the chicken around. I don't want to have too much flour on my chicken. And just transfer this to a parchment-lined sheet. Work really fast and get a few pieces right into that 350-degree hot oil. So here we are. 8 perfect pieces, and we're ready to fry the chicken. Now here is our pan that's lined with parchment and has a rack on it. The legs take quite a while to cook. We have 2 pounds of solid vegetable shortening melted, and I'm using the old-fashioned Crisco. I'm putting the chicken in skin side down to start. It'll be turned twice during the cooking process. Try to keep the temperature at 350 degrees. So while the chicken's cooking, I'm going to make a cabbage slaw, one of my favorite things to take on a picnic with fried chicken. This is a great slaw, too, because there's no mayonnaise in it. It's real healthy. I've already shredded a half a head of really bright red cabbage, and now I'm going to quickly shred a half a head of green cabbage. Now, I always like to cut out this hard core. That's a little bit inedible, so we cut that out just like that and just shred the cabbage. This is how my mom always shredded it. Just turning the cabbage, just drawing the knife down like that. I find that it works so fast and so well with a big chef's knife like this or a Japanese cleaver that you get a really nice slaw very, very fast. Here's our salt, and I'll just measure it. I'd say about ½ tablespoon of salt to start. You might have to add a little bit later on. A little bit of sugar, I'd say about ½ tablespoon of sugar. Kind of important for this cabbage. And about ¼ tablespoon, a little less than a teaspoon, of pepper. And just let that sit like this. You can stir it around a little bit with your fingers. And now rice vinegar. This Marocan is a very nice rice wine vinegar. And just put, I'd say about ¼ cup to start all over your cabbage. Let this sit until your fried chicken is done. Then you can taste it. If you want it fat-free, you will not add any really good virgin olive oil. If you want a little bit more flavor, you can add a little bit of olive oil right at the end. So let that just sit We'll finish it right before we serve it. And now it's been about 7 minutes. We're going to cook the chicken a total of 18 minutes. And now I think it's time to make the first turn. Let's just look and see. It's looking really crispy and delicious. A little bit of color is already coming to the chicken. The first published recipe for fried chicken was in Mary Randolph's 1824 book, The Virginia Housewife. And fried chicken became really firmly established as a Southern dish probably in the mid-1800s. Back then, it was only made for special occasions. Well, now it's time to turn it again. It's getting to be just that mahogany color that I want. And so I'm turning each piece again carefully. Boy, is this looking good. Let's taste the coleslaw. I'll see if we have to add anything to it. I love how this looks. I really need a great big spoon. We'll toss it. It's amazing how fast cabbage starts to tenderize with the addition of that salt and a little bit of the sugar. Let me just taste. A little bit more vinegar, so maybe 1/3 of a cup. And just to make it shine, a little bit of olive oil, just a glistening. The chicken is just the right color. Very nice to have a rack like this. Well, there you have it. Real crispy, beautiful. I always put a little sprinkling of salt on my fried chicken. And as soon as it cools, I'm going to take a bite. Well, Fried Chicken 101, my Southern friends would be proud. Enjoy. Well, how good did that look? Next, a dessert you'll definitely want to devour, blueberry crumble pie. We'll be right back.